Massive escalation in the Russia-Ukraine war. Kyiv comes under deadly missile and drone strikes, leaving casualties and devastation across the capital, and Ukraine hits back with a powerful cross-border drone attack deep into Russia's Krasnodar region, all while the new US-backed peace plan may already be falling apart. I'm here to break down exactly what happened, why tensions are rising fast, and what this means for the future of the war. Here's everything you need to know. Please don't forget to subscribe for verified war updates, hit the notification bell to stay informed, share this video to spread awareness. On November 26th, Russia launched a powerful wave of missile and drone attacks on the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. This wasn't a single strike, it was a coordinated barrage. Residential neighborhoods were hit. Apartment blocks, parked cars, city streets, all struck within minutes. At least 7 people were killed, and more than 20 others injured, according to officials. Massive damage was reported across multiple districts, including Shevchenkivsky and Solomiansky. The attack forced thousands of civilians to rush back into underground shelters, a scene Kyiv hasn't witnessed at this intensity in months, but Ukraine didn't stay silent. Within hours, Ukrainian long-range drones struck Russia's Krasnodar region, injuring civilians and igniting fires in several locations. This marks yet another deep strike inside Russian territory, sending a clear message that the conflict is no longer contained to the traditional front lines. With both sides escalating, the battlefield is becoming more unpredictable, and the stakes are climbing higher than ever. As the battlefield heats up, diplomatic pressure is rising just as fast. Behind the scenes, the United States is pushing hard for a new peace proposal, one they believe could finally pull both sides toward negotiations. The Kremlin has confirmed that U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff will travel to Moscow to meet senior Russian officials. His mission: present Washington's proposed peace plan and explore whether a ceasefire is still possible. The plan reportedly includes multiple stages: a freeze on frontline positions, humanitarian corridors for civilians, and the beginning of phased negotiations between Moscow and Kyiv. On paper, it sounds like a major breakthrough, but on the ground, the reality is far more complicated. Just hours after confirming the visit, Moscow made its position clear: Russia will not make major concessions, not on territory, not on frontline control, not on political conditions. That hard stance immediately cast doubt on the entire peace effort. Analysts warn that without flexibility from both sides, the plan could collapse before talks even begin. And with fresh missile strikes, retaliatory drone attacks, and political red lines hardening, these peace talks are entering one of their most fragile moments yet. If diplomacy fails, the conflict could escalate even further and far faster than many expected. So with both sides striking harder and diplomacy under strain, the biggest question now is, how far could this escalate? Military analysts warn that the latest attacks may signal a shift toward a more dangerous phase of the conflict. Russia's intensified missile strikes on Kyiv show a willingness to escalate at a moment when negotiations should be calming tensions. And Ukraine's long-range drone strike deep into the Krasnodar region demonstrates Kyiv's expanding capability to reach targets far inside Russian territory, something Moscow has repeatedly called a red line. As these retaliatory attacks grow in range and frequency, the risk of uncontrolled escalation grows with them. Any miscalculation, any strike that hits the wrong target, could trigger a much larger confrontation. And it's not just Moscow and Kyiv. The United States, NATO, and European powers are watching closely, because any major escalation could drag in more international actors and reshape the security landscape across the entire region. Winter is approaching, battlefield conditions are shifting, and with political pressure rising on all sides, the conflict is becoming far more unpredictable than it was even a few weeks ago. Some experts warn that if peace talks fail, the coming weeks could see an even sharper escalation, with new weapons, deeper strikes, and increased civilian risk. This is a critical turning point. The next moves from Moscow, Kyiv, and Washington could determine whether the war slows down or enters its most dangerous phase yet. So where does this all lead? The next few days will be absolutely critical, and here's what the world will be watching. First, all eyes are on Moscow. U.S. envoy. Steve Witkoff's visit will reveal whether Russia is truly open to negotiations or simply buying time while the conflict intensifies. If the peace plan gains traction, we could see the first real steps toward a ceasefire, even if temporary. But if the talks stall or collapse, expect more strikes, more retaliation, and a rapid rise in military pressure. Second, Kyiv remains extremely vulnerable. Russia's latest strike pattern shows a renewed focus on major cities, meaning air defenses and civilian safety will be top priorities in the coming weeks. And third, the front lines themselves. Both sides may use this moment, right before winter fully sets in, to push for tactical gains, knowing that frozen ground and harsh weather can both help and hinder operations. Diplomacy, battlefield momentum, and political pressure are all colliding right now. What happens next will decide whether the war moves toward peace or spirals into an even more dangerous chapter. The situation is shifting hour by hour, and this conflict is entering one of its most uncertain phases yet. We'll continue tracking every major development, from the front lines to the diplomatic tables to the global reactions that shape what happens next. In moments like these, clear and verified information matters more than ever. If you found this update helpful, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video so more people can stay informed. This is the Military Brief covering reality reporting latest news. Thank you for watching, stay safe, and stay aware.